class, good morning. So the last couple days we've been talking about the civil rights movement, but I wanted to talk today about political cartoons. Does anyone know what a political cartoon is?
Are they in the Sunday paper?
Yeah, they're usually in newspapers, yeah. Do you know, Dennis?
They are a cartoon that might spoof a particular subject.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Usually they have some sort of relevance to a subject. So the three things that are really important to remember about political cartoons, one is that there is always meaning. Everything that's in a political cartoon is there very intentionally. A painting of a tree or some sort of landscape, that's just to look pretty. Political cartoons are supposed to have a meaning, so there's always meaning. The second thing to remember is that they are always political. Usually has to do with what's happening in the time now. I know someone that's really common to see in political cartoons today is President Trump because he's the president. So people have opinions about what he's doing, what he's not doing, that sort of thing. So he's constantly in political cartoons. What sort of thing do you think would be in a political cartoon in the 1960s?
Civil rights.
Civil rights, that's a very good point. And the third thing to remember is that they're awesome for history. So, often historians like us like to use political cartoons to explain what people were thinking, what was their opinion on what was going on, and what was on people's minds. So, we're going to analyze some. Okay, can you guys see this one right here? Can you tell me what? So this one was called, it got cut off, but it was called Congress Cafe. Can you see what's happening in it? What do you see?
A man working really, really hard washing dishes.
Okay, so there's dishes. Let's say dishwasher. Dishwasher? Where are they at?
Well, the other person is sitting at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And the person behind them, they're at a cafe.
Cafe, okay, so
Restaurant.
let's just focus on what we see at this point. What else do you see?
Coffee.
Coffee? Yeah. Do you see any words in it?
Civil rights.
Civil rights, interesting. Do you see any other words in it?
Open 24 hours.
Open 24 hours. Okay, so these seem to be kind of the important things. So if this is the Congress Cafe, what do you think that represents?
Stuff that laws that Congress is currently making.
Okay, so if the cafe is Congress, who's this guy?
Congressman.
It's Congressman, okay. And what is he doing in that?
He looks scared.
Looks a little scared. What is he scared of?
The person with the civil rights.
Person with the civil rights. So the really important thing to remember with political cartoons is that if someone has a label on them, they're representing that. So this man right here, he represents civil rights. Political cartoons don't mess around with symbolism. They just tell you what the symbol is. So why would he be scared of civil rights?
Because they're open. People who are fighting for them don't just get to turn off the open sign.
Yep. So this was drawn to criticize how Congress was avoiding the civil rights movement. So you see this man's waiting here, you know, when you're waiting at a restaurant for too long. That's what this man's doing. He's waiting to get served, and the Congress is kind of avoiding him. So that's one of them. Do you guys want to do another one?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, what are some words that you see in this one? What comes to mind?
Dreams.
Dreams, okay. What else?
Future.
Future.
It says dreams of the future Vietnam.
Yes. Okay, so Vietnam. What are these guys here?
Soldiers.
Soldiers. What do you notice about them?
One seems to have a future, the other one doesn't.
Interesting. Okay. So, different futures. Why would they be worried about that if they're in the middle of a war?
Time of Vietnam, Civil Rights Movement.
Yep, so the Vietnam War was happening during the Civil Rights Movement. So what do you notice about the difference between these two soldiers?
Skin color.
Skin color. One's white, one's black. So what do you think that the illustrator was trying to convey with this?
It was unknown to the soldiers in Vietnam, really what was going on in America.
Mhm. Unsure about America. That's a really good point.
The futures, what they were coming home to.
Yeah, and so do you think that before these two men were in the war together, do you think they had pretty similar lives? Do you think they had different lives?
Different.
Different? How come?
Skin color.
Skin color. Exactly. That's a really big deal. So this was drawn around the same time as the other one we just looked at. And while both black men and white men would go to war, usually when they came home, the white men were treated better than the black men. It was a big saying back in the Vietnam War that everyone's equal on the battlefield. Well, when they went home, they weren't equal anymore. So this author was trying to convey that even though they're the same right now, later they're going to have, he's going to have a career, he's going to have, it says good job, fine home, promotions. He doesn't know what his future is going to be like after the war. Okay, let's do one more. So this is our last one, and this one is actually from the 1950s. So a little bit earlier than we were studying. What do you see? So this says Supreme Court ruling, and this says school segregation.
It looks like it's a teacher's desk.
Okay, teacher's desk. So school. What else do you see? What's on the desk?
The Supreme Court ruling tab is attached to a bomb.
Mm-hmm. Not usually something that you see on a teacher's desk. What do you think it means that the bomb is on top of the school segregation?
It's a ticking time bomb.
Yep.
The Supreme Court ruling for segregation.
Right. So this was drawn before the Supreme Court ruled that school segregation was illegal and unconstitutional. So this was drawn pre-segregation.
So this was in support of ending segregation.
It was saying that it was a matter of time. So the number one thing to do when you're looking at political cartoons is to look at all the different images and think about how they interact and how it was important at that political time. Okay? So for your homework tonight, I want you to find a political cartoon from the years 1960 to 1970. Find one, and you're going to do a paragraph analyzing what you see and how it's relevant. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.